Sergeant Hulka, the Sarge. Thank you for jumping on this. This is so cool.
Thanks for having me.
I'm stoked. I got to meet you in person on the weekend. What a show! The Frio Beer Fest. You guys, it turned up, turned it on. It was great.
It was a lot of fun. I've played a beer fest before with another band that I was just doing backing vocals for, but first one doing a Sergeant Hulka, so it was a lot of fun.
My mind boggles at coordinating a band of that size. Tell us, like, how do you go about even just coordinating shows and stuff like that with that many members in the band?
Yeah, it's big. It kind of organically grew to that size. So like when I started Sergeant Hulka, it was just Tim and I and well, Timothy on the drums, and then I got a bass player, and then I got Millie on backing vocals, and then I got Willem on guitar, and then it's just kind of grown since then. And now, as it is, as the nine piece with two horns, three backing vocals, and everything else, I sort of took a step back at one stage and went, "Oh fuck! Like, how how did this happen?"
Yeah.
But the other side of it is like I also love it because it's the sound that I wanted. It was like I knew there was a sound that I was wanting to create, but I needed to have the time to be able to find it.
Yes.
And so yeah, now that I've got that sound, I'm like, cool. Now I've just got to work out how to manage it. So as the nine piece, it's probably only been, I'd say, a solid year and a bit as actually nine people. There, where I'm like, cool. The full show is nine people. We'll sometimes play with seven, sometimes with five. I'll often do solo shows or like myself and just the backing vocalists, or myself and just the engine room or something. But as the full show, it's nine people. So we generally don't rehearse much. Trying to get nine people in the same room at the same time is virtually impossible. So often what I'll do is I'll have like an engine room rehearsal. So myself, bass, guitar, drums. And then I'll have a backing vocals rehearsal with just myself and the
Right.
backing vocals. And then if there's like a big gig coming up or we're working on new material, then I'll plan like 2 months in advance and be like, cool, we're doing it on this day, we
Yeah.
need to rehearse, please make it. And if people don't make it, then we always just record the tracks on our phone
Cool.
and send them through. So like everyone in the band though, we've worked together, like in terms of like the core group, we've worked together for so long that we kind of just know each other so well that
Yeah.
we can just most of the time vibe it. But also I've got a pretty big list of fill-in musicians. So like say if the like it's rare to have Harry and James, the saxon trumpet player, on the same show because they're so busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like we did the Frio Folk Fest with another sax player, Kate, and trumpet player Zoe. That like was the first time she'd played with us before. And so yeah, I get a lot of fill-ins. And every show that we do has a new group chat. It's also as well trying to know our audience a little bit as well. Late night shows for people that want to come and see us, just unless it's a festival or another big thing, it just doesn't work.
You're right.
Even single launches, it's a lot of the people that kind of want to come and see us play. They've either got kids or they turned 30 and don't want to leave the house, and like it's tough. So I think for a lot of the shows that I'm going to plan for next year, I'll be looking at doing a few more like outdoor day shows, or something that's a bit more just earlier.
Yeah.
The idea of putting on a show and having three bands before the main act, and the main act doesn't come on till 11, it's kind of like You know, when you're 19 and 20, yeah, sure, that works. When you go into that older demographic, then
Yeah.
it doesn't work as well.
So really importantly, like for people that are proactive, that are self-managed and independent, do you have a way that you cope with all of the no's that you get? Right. So whether it's like, no, we don't get the gig, no, we don't get to, I don't know, we don't sell as much merch as what we wanted to, no, we didn't sell the albums, or we don't get the streams. Like, is there
Yeah.
a thing that you guys do or you do to help you deal with the no's?
That's a really good question. Um, I don't. I It used to get to me a lot. Like I applied for Nana 5 years in a row, and after the first year, I was the first rejection was just like, oh, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
And you feel a bit sad about it. But I've always just had that thing of just keep going, keep pushing, because um, the the moment that you give up is the moment it ends, is
Yeah.
kind of my outlook of it. Because no one's going to come knocking on your door saying, "Hey, why aren't you playing music anymore?" It's kind of all down. It's all down to me. I'm the one that keeps this ship going. So if I decide that I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore, then the ship goes down. I think so a bit of the backstory to that as well is I was in a lot of bands when I was early 20s, and I I was the leading force in those bands. Like, we were a band. It was different to the setup of Sergeant Hulka. Like, we were all a band. We were all in it
Yeah.
together. There wasn't any fill-ins. There wasn't like a list of session musos that we call on.
Yeah.
We were all in it together. But I was the one I did everything.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where I was completely burnt out, and I got over it, and I ended up just going like, I wonder what happens if I don't book in rehearsals or if I don't book in gigs.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, someone from the
Nothing
band
happened.
contacted me and said, "Oh, hey, Kirst, when's our next gig?" And I was like, it's been 6 months.
Yeah.
And so I gave up on music for a long time. I didn't play gigs. I didn't write songs. I didn't do anything for about 5 years. After 5 years, I went, I need to do this again. I was full-time teaching in a school as a music teacher.
Yeah.
And it got to the point when I was getting jealous of the kids that were able to perform.
Ah.
And that was my little kind of call to action of like, you can't be jealous of kids just because they've got performance opportunities.
Says, I forget it. I forget it. I forget it. Get it. I forget it now. I want to hear you back. I forget it. I forget it. Get it. I forget it now. And on this side. I forget it. I forget it. Get it. I forget it now. Don't forget it.
I've kind of always been of the frame of mind of like, if it's not working, then fix it. Rather than complaining about it, I was like, right, what can I do about this? How can I fix this? And so I was like, right, I'm quitting teaching full time. I am
Wow.
writing music again. Well, not writing, I didn't know what to do. I had been out of the scene for 5 years. So I met Tim, the drummer, and we started jamming, and we were going to set up like a covers duo thing. And I remembered I just lost that in one night, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I need to play original music.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like that's where it started. And from then on, I've just kind of gone, all right, I'm in this for the long run. And
Yeah.
I know the other side of what it is when I give up. I know what
Interesting.
I know what I turn into, and I know what happens to me when I'm not playing music, and it's not pretty.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of always been in the back of my mind, that it's not that I never have moments when I want to give up. I always want to give up. There was like a few months ago, I was literally just going like, I can't do this. I am done. I am like, stuff this. You can all get stuffed. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to sell shows anymore. I don't want to sell merch. No one bloody comes to the shows. And I was having a big, this is a regular thing that happens.
Yeah.
But it's always, it's always in the back of my mind of, I know what the alternative is. And yeah, those 5 years when I wasn't playing music, when I wasn't writing music, when I wasn't performing or interacting with other musos, I was an absolute mess. I need to do it. So that's kind of, so when you get those rejections and you get all those no's, it sucks and it hurts and I want to give up and I just think, what's the point? But I know what the alternative is. And so
what an outlook.
Keep going.
Yeah. Fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing that.
That's all right.
I think stuff like that is so valuable, particularly for other musos and stuff, because like that's what I seem to kind of come across in a lot of these conversations is dealing with the fact that there is just so much no's out there and the struggles and we only get to see the shiny glitz and glamour. We don't get to hear the fact that like you've been rejected 5 times from a festival. I might try and break that record for you before we get there. But I mean, I can relate to that. I think it was probably 3 years in a row I applied for Gidstock, right? And you get knocked back, and then you finally get that shot, and it just makes it so much more worthwhile when you do get it, right? So really appreciate your time, Kirsty, and being able to chat and coordinating all the geography, showing us your beautiful backyard,
every angle of it. So
best of luck, for the summer ahead and everything from here.
Yeah, you too.
I'm in my